A lot of breaking news here this morning. The breaking story just moments ago, the Supreme Court and this landmark ruling, the court making same-sex marriage legal in this country across every state in this nation. Going into today, 37 states in Washington, D.C., 13 states illegal, but those 37 states had same-sex marriage, and now that will change in all 50 states. I want to get back to John Karl at the White House because, John, 2 days in a row, yesterday, the Supreme Court, for the second time, handing the president a victory. And as we just learned, the president has tweeted he would consider this a victory at the court as well for his policy.
Absolutely. Two major victories for the president at the Supreme Court, and both of them coming courtesy of justices appointed by Republican presidents. In this case, Justice Anthony Kennedy was the majority on this, was that critical fifth vote joining the liberals. Justice Anthony Kennedy appointed to the court by Ronald Reagan. And yesterday, the majority decision in that Obamacare case was Justice John Roberts, appointed Chief Justice, and to the court by President George W. Bush. These were two decisions that the world has been watching, but have been watched no more closely than here at the White House, and both coming down exactly as the White House wanted them to.
John, stick with us here. I want to get right over to Terry Moran, who covers the Supreme Court for us. And Terry, I wanted to get your reaction to a piece of audio during the arguments in this case from Chief Justice John Roberts. Let's let everyone at home listen to a little bit of that argument. I can tell you what he said in the court as we prepare to get that audio, but Justice Roberts telling the court, if Sue loves Joe and Tom loves Joe, Sue can marry him and Tom can't, and the Chief Justice asking, why isn't that a straightforward question of sexual discrimination? And ultimately for him, that was the question, Terry.
That question where he essentially said, if two people love the same person, the opposite sex person can marry that person, but the same sex person can't. And there was a glimmer of hope among the advocates for same-sex marriage under the law that Chief Justice Roberts might find his own path through gender discrimination, that it's merely a matter of gender that distinguishes one side from the other there, that he might come over and vote for constitutionality of same-sex marriage. He did not, but very characteristically, he offered not an angry dissent necessarily, but a more gentle one. This is his last paragraph in his dissent. He says, if you're among the many Americans, whatever sexual orientation, who favor expanding same-sex marriage, by all means, celebrate today's decision, he says. Celebrate the achievement of a desired goal. Celebrate the opportunity for the expansion of your commitment. But do not celebrate the Constitution, he says. It had nothing to do with it.
All right, Terry Moran at the court, 2 days in a row, two very historic decisions. We appreciate your reporting.
Okay, everyone, this is Kentucky from My Thoughts On, and you've just heard an excerpt from ABC News about the pretty historic Supreme Court decision on same-sex marriage throughout the entire 50 states of this great nation. And as you've heard, the Supreme Court said it is now federally legal and to make all states have same-sex marriage an ability for all people. And I'm going to give my thoughts on that, and then give my little spiel afterwards. You heard what the newscaster said. The main proponent and the main drive and the main person behind this decision was Justice Roberts. And not only was he the main key in this decision, but a couple of days ago, the president scored a big victory in Obamacare, making it mandatory for all states to accept some Obamacare, offer Obamacare, which is the main thing was the mandate. And it's not this mandate to where government offers you insurance and you buy what the government offers you. The mandate was for if you don't buy health insurance, that you will be punished in the form of a tax or in the form of a fine. That was the mandate that everyone was fighting over. So no, the government won't be offering free health care like like the socialist system, like Canada and stuff like that. Even though that might have been the preferred option, but people are so scared of socialism that that they didn't want that. But okay, so Obama said we're going to do the next best thing, and we're going to pretty much force you to everyone to have health care. And if you do not, you will have to pay some sort of fine or some sort of tax. And on this decision, it was Chief Justice Roberts, again, who was the main player in making same-sex marriage legal in this country nationwide. And you heard the broadcaster, basically Chief Roberts, asking a simple question. If I don't know exactly the names he used, but if Mary loved Joe and Joe loved Mary, but Mary loved Sue, and if Mary loved Joe and they could get married, but if Mary loved Jane and they couldn't get married, isn't that a question of damn it, I forgot what he used. Isn't that a question of sexual discrimination? And it is. So the Supreme Court makes things sound simple at times. They even impress me at times, but that's why they're Supreme Court justices, and I'm not. And it was a pretty simple question, and it is a form of a simple form of sex discrimination, to a man and a woman being able to get married, and a man 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 and a woman not being able to get married. It's a simple form of sex discrimination, which this country does not tolerate, apparently. And I know there's going to be, all type of people, going back to the Bible and saying, oh, God is going to bring down the wrath of God on this country for allowing, gays to get married. And you know what? The back in the Old Testament, God stopped punishing the world. Back in Sodom and Gomorrah, and even back to Noah, with the rainbows, he gave different signs and scriptures that said that he will not punish a majority for what a few do, because at the end of the day, we're all going to be judged individually. Even if I believe that being having sex with the same gender as you is a sin. I personally believe that, but I can't force that belief onto someone else. That's dictatorship. That's not what this country is all about. And there's going to be people that bring up, oh, the saint. This is going to wash away the sanctity of marriage. This means marriage means nothing. Dude, the divorce rate is like well over 50%. You got people like I don't want to talk about my baby, my future baby mom, but Kim Kardashian making mockery of marriage, getting married for 80 days or whatever, 70 some days or whatever. I mean, you have people getting married for a week, then getting divorced. You have people making mockeries of marriage, straight people making mockeries of marriage all the time. So please, come on. If you're serious about marriage, then you and your partner make that marriage sacred. You don't depend on a gay couple or another straight couple to make your marriage any sacred or less sacred. And my thoughts on this is, so what, man? I really don't care about this whole gay thing. If you're gay, I could care less if you're gay, and I could care less that that if you're gay, you get married to another gay person. That so doesn't pay my bills. That so has nothing to do with me and none of my business. And this gay thing has been around for a long, long time now. I think it is a good decision by the Supreme Court. I think spiritually, it's not up to me to judge, because I don't have that authority, and there's only one person on that day judgment that's going to judge those individuals, and you or I are not going to be that person. So my thoughts on this whole thing is good for the United States. Let's give everybody equal opportunity, and let's keep it moving. Another big I'm a big Obama fan. Another big win for Obama, and it comes from Justice Roberts, who was, of course, appointed by a Republican, George W. Bush. So, hey, man, I mean, is cheers all the way around, and that's my whole thoughts on the whole Supreme Court ruling that gay marriage is legal nationwide. I am Kentucky for this, my thoughts on, and I will talk to you guys again on the next upload. Peace.